Welcome to the Caregiving podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Just good?
I'm real good.
Oh, real
it's
good.
Friday.
Yeah, TGIF, man.
Yes. Even though I love coming to work every day, it's still nice to know you got a couple days off.
Yeah. Well, I think with the ranching that you do and the sheeping that we do, it's nice to have a couple days off because we're never not working.
Yeah, then we just wear a different hat.
Yep. But as we discussed in a previous episode, we are letting our houses go because we're prioritizing the farm animals.
Yes. So much more fun.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Actually, I got one of those Roomba things. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. They're cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of trippy to watch it work though.
Yeah.
Like and it just knows
you dropped a crumb. I'm
on it. And then it knows when the battery's going to die, so it knows to put itself away back on the charger.
What?
Yeah. And the first day that we used it, it kind of went rogue a little bit because it just takes off and it's like you don't know where it's going. So actually we had gone to bed and we hear this like loud noise and we're like, what in the heck is going on? Turn on the light. Well, here's the Roomba dragging a heater behind it because it had sucked up the cord.
Oh no.
And like a big heater.
Oh no.
Space heater. I don't know where that came from, but anywho, that's how I vacuum, by pushing the Go Roomba button.
I vacuum by not having any rugs.
Oh, that works too. I think we've burned up several vacuums at my house.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's the farm.
Yeah.
It's just always straw and hay and dirt and yeah. Anywho.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what was your last purchase? I think I need to purchase an additional vacuum to go along with my Roomba. And the Roomba was not my purchase. It was a gift for Christmas. And It was a very thoughtful gift from my sister-in-law.
Indeed. My last purchase was actually, speaking of animals, but going to my favorite store, Murdoch's.
Oh, yes.
Bought a whole bunch of feed.
Oh my gosh. I told Craig once at Murdoch's, I'm like, if you would just sell like milk and eggs here, I would never have to go anywhere else. Just add a few grocery items and never have to go anywhere else.
Well, it's winter now. When I buy my the grain, we just leave it in the back of my truck just because it keeps the mice out. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's actually added traction. So,
double duty.
So it's working well for me.
Oh, yeah. No, that's smart.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else I need to haul right now. So it's not in the way.
Last thing I purchased, moonshines.
Moonshines.
For my homies here in the office.
Yes. Those are...
and a salted caramel mocha for me.
Ooh.
Because I love it.
Yeah. That's one of those foofy drinks. Mm-hmm. But they're so yummy.
So good. Like a natural energy. Like your moonshines with the lotus plant energy. That's what they say anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Did you know?
No,
I was actually giving you something healthy.
Ew. Dang it. I don't like them so much anymore.
Scratch that off the list.
Dang it.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm just talking smack right now. I think that's how it's advertised, that it's plant energy and it's supposed to be better for you, but I didn't research it. So somebody could check me out and see that I'm full of it. Entirely possible.
Fact checker.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, we have a verse and I love it because it was sent by my mom, also known as Grandma Jean.
Yes.
This is Galatians 5:22-23. But when the Holy Spirit controls our lives, he will produce this kind of fruit in us: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And this is what Grandma Jean has to say. I receive an email from the Upper Room Bible Study Series daily. This recent verse really struck home for me and inspired my new personal mantra, be kind. I'm a caregiver for my mother, and it has brought to my attention that I can be a little impatient and crabby at times. It is true, so I'm working on it. When I feel a spell of crabbiness coming on, I call upon the Spirit to remind me to snap out of it and be kind. I repeat the phrase mentally often as I go about my day and have found that all those other fruits tend to fall in place.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's weird about that, is that you just received that.
Yes.
Just in time to talk about this topic.
I know.
Weird.
Good timing. Good job, Grandma Jean.
Good job, Jean.
Yeah, I love it. I love reading her submissions. It's very insightful, and she takes a lot of time to really think about things, and she does practice what she preaches.
Oh, yeah.
So be kind.
That was wonderful. I love. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. What's your uplifting story of the week?
So, since our topic is guilt-free caregiving, I had actually just come upon this story. It's called No Place for Shame. And it says, Linda, a friend in my caregiver support group, stared at me across the conference room table. Even though my mom treated my sister Penny unkindly, Penny still takes care of her with all the love and respect mom deserves, she said. As she emphasized the last two words, everyone nodded and made approving sounds. Everyone but me. I sat in my place, anger hammering at my heart. My muscles tensed at that old feeling of shame. The shame I felt when I was 6 and my mother yelled at me as my cousin looked on, or embarrassed me in front of my friends when she corrected my manners. How dare Linda single me out in front of all these people, I thought. A comment minute later about how I struggled to keep my patience with my hard-to-please mom was a plea for help, not an invitation for Linda to scold me in front of others. Just as I was thinking I'd never come back to this group, I'd find a new one, our leader Carolyn spoke up. It sounds like your mom has always been a difficult person, Jeanette. When I nodded hard, she asked the group to share some tips that had worked for them. Several encouraged me with ideas to make my relationship with mom easier, to help erase the shame. I decided to keep coming back.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting when we just immediately, boom, we're mad.
Oh, I have a few triggers that do that to me that I've had to work on, even just in this office this week.
Yeah. Was one of them me?
No, not you. I just slug you.
Right.
We'd slug it out and move on. No.
Yeah. But with encouragement, it diffused her.
Yep.
And brought her back down to where she needed. And she was to learn a lesson from that.
Yeah. I think you taught me a lesson and said, don't spend your energy on it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time. So thank you for that.
You bet.
All right. Well, I also have a story. It's called Attitude Adjustment. And I thought this was great. After mom broke her hip, she needed someone to stay with her day and night. I moved in to make sure that she had her meals, her pills, and did her physical therapy. Every morning before I got her out of bed, I would get her to do exercises, something we both hated. She didn't want to do them, and all the coaxing exhausted me. Come on, Mom, I'd say. You need to lift that leg to a 45-degree angle. One morning, she exploded. Stop bossing me. I'm the mother. What's this about angles? I turned away from her and walked toward the window. Oh God, I silently prayed, this will never work. 7 flights down in the park, I could see children playing flag football. I could see the coach waving his arms and pointing, and then a child running in that direction. I took a deep breath and turned back to Mom. Mom, I'm not bossing you. I'm your coach. This is the bed, I said, holding my palm flat. This is a 45-degree angle, I demonstrated with the other palm on top. She smiled. I see. Well, Coach, let's get this done before breakfast. I smiled back. A simple change in our attitudes had made all of the difference.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And I think it's that way with so many people on the physical therapy, things that we see in homes where you just don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going through that myself right now. I just have reached the age that I've realized that I have to do it if I want to feel better.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to.
Yeah. No. And I did a home visit. It was just this last week where we started with a 93-year-old, just delightful lady. And she, I said, now what can we do to make sure that this relationship is going to work really? And she said, there's 2 rules. Don't boss me and don't lecture me. was like,
okay.
you and I, honey, we're going to get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bossing thing, I think it's hard.
It's all in your approach.
It is. It's not, I tell my girls this all the time. It's not always what you say, but how you say it. So for this gal, she just was able to turn it around. I'm not bossing. I'm just your coach.
Oh my
Let's see
goodness.
if we can
How
get this
brilliant
done.
for her to take that from that scene that she was watching in the park.
Yeah. God
Cool.
was like, hey lady, come here.
Oh my
Come over here to the
gosh.
window. I need you to see something.
Yes, yes. So we're going to start our topic. And I have a quote that just comes up in my mind always. And it's from Rosalind Carter. And it says, there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. And so that goes right into the topic today, which is the guilt-free caregiving.
Yeah. I think that being a caregiver, and especially like a 24/7 caregiver, there is so much stress put on there. And then I think the caregiver themselves puts stress on themselves, and guilt is just crazy. So you had come up with something about there are kind of 5 primary reasons why we experience guilt, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that they talk about is promises. Promises that we've made come back to haunt us. The promise that we made to dad on his deathbed that we'd never put mom in a home. The promise that we made to the parents that we'd always keep our brother with a disability in our home. Promises that we'd never bring in a stranger to the home as a caregiver. Things like that start to hit you, basically.
Yeah. Yep. Then there's the coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Oh, yep.
I could have done more. I should have done more. If I only knew, I would have done more.
Yeah, those shoulda, woulda, couldas will get you
Oh, they'll beat you up.
in every situation. So we actually say that in at our house a lot. Oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. We kind of make a joke about it in some ways, but it is a very, very real thing.
Yeah.
We're poor communicators. We try to read the mind of the person for whom we are caring for. We expect them to know what we are thinking. We make assumptions about meanings. We don't seek clarification. And then we wonder why the things we do aren't meeting the needs of the person for whom we're caring for, and why the things that they say and do displease us. That's really true. I mean, if you can, in that communication process, simplify it as much as you possibly can.
Yep. Then we feel guilty for being angry. So anger, though, is the primary source of our guilt. Expressing anger towards the care recipient always creates guilt, but the unexpressed anger that we swallow causes even more guilt. Isn't that just the perfect way to beat yourself up?
Oh, yeah, it's perfect storm. You're like, I'm mad, and then you're feel guilty about that, and then it's just a circle of it.
Yep, that goes back to the story that we shared about the lady that was in the caregiver support group. She was looking for help, but even as somebody said something, it immediately just ticked her off.
Right.
And her first defense was just to get the heck out of there.
Right.
And thankfully, she had people to talk her off the wall.
Right.
And hopefully, we can figure out ways to diffuse our own anger.
Right. Well, and then, 5th on this particular list is that truly some of us are raised in a culture where guilt is just ingrained and nothing we do is ever quite good enough. So we're not able to ever rest on our laurels. We know it could have been done better or should have been done better. And so we just it's this self-imposed guilt.
Yeah. The author of this actually said, as a caregiver, you are consumed by guilt, doom, fear, hopelessness, and even helplessness. He said, it's stuck with me over the years because I've often felt these emotions. Fortunately, not all of them at the same time, because then you would be totally overwhelmed.
Oofda. Yeah, and just shut down.
Yeah, it's really interesting when we have people call us to start talking about potentially getting some care in the home. And I know that I've talked about this before, but it's one of those things that you can hear it in people's voice. And when they're talking after they've had a chance to tell you their story and what's going on, sometimes I just stop and say, how are you? And they are just baffled by that.
Because they don't really ever get asked that.
That, or they've never even stopped to consider that maybe some of the stuff going on is just something that they're holding within themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a deep question, and I've caused a lot of tears. Yeah, and but it's good because we can talk through it,
Right.
and then those people are just forever thankful that they had someone to talk to.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that makes me think about basically what our agency does. And yes, we do provide caregivers, generally to take care of a particular individual, but really we're taking care of the entire family.
Absolutely.
'Cause there's a lot of discussions that go on outside of the care that's happening in that home, just helping people try to organize their feelings about things, as much as anything.
Oh my goodness. And people don't understand until they're just neck deep in it, truly how overwhelming it is to have someone that you love move in with you or start going to them. We've had friends that mother has her own apartment because they're trying to keep that independence, but they're stopping at the house in the morning before they go to work, possibly during their lunch hour to check on them, and then afterwards going 3 times a day, just stopping at the apartment.
Yep.
Or having them move in.
Well, it changes things. So even, I think I was talking earlier about maybe last episode or something about we've had a lot of traffic in and out of our house with lambing. And so a lot of the kids that work with us and are, kind of trying to come through our program, they like to stay with us and just get the experience of going out in the middle of the night and helping with the birth. And anyway, having somebody in your house that's not part of that normal routine, it just changes the dynamic of it. So I'm sure that, I at this point have not had, to bring, a mother or grandmother or anything like that into our home. But for those people who have, it's like completely organizing and learning your routine to get used to having another person. And, it always seems simple, like, oh, it's not a big deal. We're already cooking, we're already doing these things, but just the presence of another person, especially if they have a lot of physical hands-on needs.
Oh, that. And you automatically say, well, I love my mom.
Oh, of
course. This is going to be easy. Come on, Mom. We're going to have a great time.
Yep. Yes.
And you do. You do.
Yep.
There are wonderful, wonderful times, and what a blessing that you're able to help them.
Right.
But you've got to not forget that if you are starting to feel tension, you better stop and let's evaluate.
Right. Well, and give yourself permission to basically say, okay, this has kind of turned things upside down. Everything's different. I'm maybe a little edgy because I'm not used to having an extra body in the kitchen with me when I'm cooking, or, whatever that is.
Sure.
We all have,
That's
one area for me. And I have a really awesome layout in my kitchen, honestly. But sometimes when I'm cooking and I feel like I've got more people in there than should be, even if they're, I've got this big radius, even at that, sometimes it puts like a stress on me that I don't even understand why. It shouldn't, right? But these things can just affect us.
Yep. No, I've seen you cook and you have your way. And that has been very much smarter for me to just step back and say, if you need me, holler.
Yes. No, you're a smart one. Yeah. Well, the cool thing is we've got a bar that's just up top of where I do most of my cooking. So people mostly know. The people that are around a lot, they know just to sit at the bar.
Yep.
It works out better.
Yep. So what we want to do is actually, let's dissect a 24-hour day.
Yes.
Because there's 24 hours in that day.
So thinking about 24/7 care.
Yep. So let's say you're still working.
Yeah.
And you have somebody living with you. So what, are you gone for 9 hours?
At least, I'm sure most people.
Yeah, the travel, any errands before or after. And then when you get home, there's the laundry, shopping for the meals, cleaning the bathroom, feeding the dog, all of the other tasks to keep the household going.
Yep.
So you've ate up, 12 to 14 hours right there. Then you need to sleep. If you've worked 14 hours with all of that, and then you need to rest and sleep and hopefully get, they're saying 10 hours, which is not going to work, but that's 24 right there.
Right.
And then you just get up and you do the same thing over and over and over again. So that doesn't include the other random things that happen, like a doctor's appointment, PTA meetings, family gatherings. Truly.
You think about 24 hours, that's a long period of time. But when you stop and really break it down, it actually isn't.
Oh,
I mean, it goes fast, really.
I'm surprised at the end of the day every day is like, how did the day go so fast?
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, I have so much more to do. How can you possibly do your best as a caregiver with all of these constraints? That's where the guilt comes in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what can you do to eliminate things from the list of your must-dos?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not
Nothing.
a darn thing. Nope.
Everything needs to be done.
Yep. Accept it.
Yep.
That's the big one. That's what we should just be saying is accept that you've just done your best.
And you want to recognize the signs in yourself. So basically monitor your feelings regularly. Take action when you see signs. It's essential for your physical and mental health and for the future care of your loved one. And if you start to recognize that you're having these guilt feelings or overwhelming situations.
Yeah. Yep. Simplify your lifestyle. And just take away the notions of perfectionism.
Yes.
You know, so many of us have, well, okay, I didn't work today, so at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have this lovely homemade dinner. The table's going to be set so pretty. We're all going to sit down as a family. And, you know, you have all of these pictures of the white picket fence in your head. And I'll tell you what, there are days that I'm just like, especially by the end of the week, I'm just, what do you want? Do you want pizza? Or
Oh, I'll go through oh, dang, we're out of paper plates. Well, I guess we're going to eat off of paper towels today. If it's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, truly, if dishes is the big deal, then what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, heaven forbid I dirty a plate that I would have to wash.
Oh, goodness. It all adds up and fast. I mean, it's just Mike and I at the house now, and it's shocking how many dang dishes we have. And I always thought it was the kids, but maybe it was Mike and I.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yep. And what we tend to do there is we tend to make excuses for other people and just without even asking them if they can help. Where it's like, oh, and my mother does this. My mother is the queen of not asking for help. And because she's just like, oh, you're so busy. You're doing this with the cows and you're doing this with your business and you're doing this. And then your brother, he's got this and this and your other sister and this and that. But they didn't ask.
Right.
They didn't ask because, of course,
right.
You know, I've got a ton of stuff going on, but you are my priority.
Absolutely. Speak up and I'm there.
Yeah.
My mom was talking to me about, it's winter, obviously. So the sidewalks need shoveled. And I'm like, Mom, you can't be doing that at Grandma Fisher's anymore. Well, my brother and his kiddos live next door and his wife and everything. Like, you need to get one of the grandkids over there to help with that shoveling. And grandmas, such as they are, they always want a reward. So it was so cute. My mom was telling me that William now, he's on the payroll. Oh. So he gets to come over and shovel. And I think he gets maybe $10 a job or something. Well, he has, I think it's a go-kart that he wants to buy. So he has it all figured out. He needs $210 jobs to be able to pay for this. So, but you know, it's great because it takes the stress off of my mom having to do that. And then it gives William something that he can work towards, and it gives my mom and grandma fulfillment, and like, I can help the grandkids, but we're not just giving it to them. So it works out.
And it's
ask. You just have to ask.
So worth those $210 jobs not to have to do it.
Yes.
Oh, so that's good. And just basically, once again, we're talking about reading people's minds. We don't know until we ask them what they can help with. Even if it's something as easy as stopping at the pharmacy and picking up meds, that's one less task you have to do. I mean, I know that when I'm at work, I hate the thought that I have to run to the bank and I have to run to the post office and then I got to get my meds. That's 3 stops. Just driving through town is crazy, you know, and it adds up. So if somebody is able to do that for you, take it.
Yes. And don't be afraid to ask,
oh,
honestly.
Gosh,
Like, you're not going to offend anybody by asking. And if they can help you, they're going to help you. And if they can't, they can't. But I mean, I think about things like, you know, we live a little ways out of town. At times, if, you know, on the weekend, if I'm in town at the grocery store, I might call the neighbor and say, hey, I'm in town. Do you need anything?
Right.
And vice versa, because it's just one less thing for somebody to have to do.
Oh, that's nice. So one of the things when you're considering who your village is and who's going to help with what, you know, there are some people that have a different kind of gift to give. Somebody can sit with mom for a while so you can just go do your errands or get your hair done or go to Bible study. But some people are not comfortable being alone with that person, dependent on the disease process or where they're at and what they need. So maybe that person is very good at setting doctor's appointments and keeping the calendar going.
Right.
And so those different tasks.
Well, and I think you might be surprised that, if you're the primary caregiver, you're the 24/7, your network of people, they may really be wanting to help, but they may not know how to bring it up to you because they don't want to feel like, or don't want to make you feel like they're trying to take over or they're judging what you're doing, but they're just kind of hanging out, waiting for you to say, hey, can you run to the store for me? Or can you pick up these meds? So it may be the start of something really great.
Yeah.
If you open that conversation up, and they may start taking on a weekly task for you, things like that.
Yeah, we have a wonderful church family, and one of our guys is just unable to drive right now, especially through the winter. And so everybody's just picked up, well, I can take you on Tuesday and I can do this. And it, once again, he would have never thought anybody was going to help him because he never went there.
Well, and think about this. So not only does it help the caregiver, but it also shows the person that's being given the care that they have a network too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And avoiding negativity. Yeah. Negativity is contagious. Caregivers are vulnerable to negative thoughts and feelings because they tend to be a bit overwhelmed by their responsibilities and a bit angry about the turn that their lives have taken. Right. Negative people drag you down, so stay away from nasty people, sarcastic people, and surround yourself with people who are optimistic. That's what we do here. I'm the complaint department, but we are closed today, so no negativity allowed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no time for that. Who's got time for that?
Nobody.
No. So this is a portion of our program that I just love, and it's just basically 6 things no one told us about being a caregiver. I mean, that's just like when I had a baby. There was no book that popped out afterwards telling me what to do, right?
I know.
Same here.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, first, you are going to have to make hard choices.
Oh, yes.
Hard choices.
Yeah.
There's going to be an endless slew of medical decisions, financial decisions, quality of life decisions, and they constantly need to be made.
Yep. Yeah, and they're ever changing.
Yep.
You just have to really be on top of that. Being a caregiver to an elderly parent is nothing like having another kid. Do not let anybody tell you that.
I'm sure that it's been said, oh, it's just like having another
just
kid.
Another person in the house.
Yeah,
it's not.
No.
It is not.
Well, and I think that people say that out of, they're trying to be kind-hearted and they don't realize that it's not that at all.
Well, just even as simple as somebody having hard of hearing. When you're talking to them and you have to say it 15 times, that is irritating. Yeah. And so, that's not normal,
right?
So it's something to have to consider that's additional on top of what you're dealing with.
And caregiving can be embarrassing and uncomfortable.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word. I'll never forget Ed. Yes. Ed, this is a very, I love this story. He would take his wife, and she was becoming more and more with more dementia, and there was a decline going on. But it was very important to him that he still took her to church, and he got to the point that he literally he would sit with people that knew that every time they stood up to sing or to do whatever, that she was going to start pinching butts. And he got to the point that he no longer could take her to church. Yeah. But, for those that knew what was going on, they would just giggle and try to remain composed while at church. But he knew who his village was. Yes. So he would surround her with those people. Yeah. And how sweet is that?
She was a sweetheart, too.
But when she would come here and hang out with us for a little bit, boy, she got a little frisky.
A little handsy.
Yeah, I got all kinds of hugs and kisses. And Ed did come in, and he was embarrassed. He did say, I am so sorry. And we would just laugh. Oh, it was just cute. She's so adorable.
one of the things, and I can't remember if we've ever talked about this before, but a lot of times with Alzheimer's or dementia or any type of like a cognitive, it can be a little embarrassing and uncomfortable going out in public because you're not really sure what's going to happen. But the Alzheimer's Association and actually our Helena office or the Helena franchise, they actually made up some cards as well, just saying, you know, please be patient with me. This person has X or, you know, whatever it is to alert maybe the waitress or the bank teller that something is going on, and to just, you know, be a little bit patient, be a little bit kind.
That is the coolest trick.
Yeah, I love it. For sure.
Yeah, just nonchalantly hand them this little card that says we've got dementia on board, and so we're going to be a little slower. What
our Helena franchise did is they actually did cards that say, for all practical purposes, if lost, return to. Which is smart because sometimes we've got some quick little humans that can get away pretty fast.
Really fast. You don't think so? Yeah. Yes. Your relationships will be strained. And that's not just with the person you're caregiving, but let's say your mom moves in with you and your husband. Your husband is going to say, hey, what about me?
Right.
And they're not trying to be mean necessarily. Right. They're just like, wait, this is weird. I used to have all of your attention.
Right.
And now I'm not getting all of that.
Yeah. It just changes the dynamic for sure. Yeah. This one, and you mentioned, Julie, it hit pretty hard, and I agree with you on that. A doctor's job is to worry about prolonging life, not necessarily quality of life.
Right.
That's interesting.
When I was reading this article, I was like, wow, I've been placing a lot of the burden on doctors to help with things that they are not. How would they know what's going on? Because you're in the same office with them for 10, 15, 20 minutes. How in the world are they supposed to know that you're struggling with X out the house?
Yeah.
So it gave me a more of an appreciation to also be patient with them, and then remember to ask them about the situation that they might have some insight and be able to help.
Yeah, this person basically said if they had it to do over again, it would be less of the doctory type things and more of the let's make things enjoyable, let's make things comfortable.
Yeah.
I think stop worrying so much about just prolonging the life, but make what is there more quality. So,
heck, I'll tell you what, when I am 150 years old, if I want a milkshake for breakfast,
I'm having it,
and dinner, you better give it to me.
I know. You know, we do at times run up against situations where family members are super, super concerned, and I get it to a degree, but also at some point, you know, we've lived our lives and maybe it's okay if we have a cookie.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Mom was very, very much on Dad for the disease process he had going on. And I had to really get into Mother's world to appreciate where she was at, because I'm the person that I'm going to visit. What does Dad like? Okay, he likes those Prairie Fire hot dogs and sauerkraut and all of the sodiums. And then we're going to have root beer floats with ice cream. And, you know, that was me bringing joy.
Right.
This was me bringing Mother heartburn and worried about Dad's sodium levels.
Right.
And so you do have to figure out how to meet in the middle. Yeah, you know, is that one, you know, maybe a half of a prairie fire is going to be okay, but not two.
The whole.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that for sure.
But I had to enter into that world because I inadvertently was causing Mother more stress.
Well, I know for darn sure you don't get broccoli anymore because the aftermath of that
caused us all stress.
It was not good. So anyway, I learned my lesson on that one. Don't even let it touch your kielbasa.
No.
You know, the other thing, you're going to need a break.
Yes.
So again, going back to reaching out, asking for help. Don't be so prideful that you can't say, dude, I'm overcooked. somebody's got to step in here and help me out.
Yep. I just got a call this morning where one of our newest clients just got her husband home from the hospital, and it's been about a week and a half, and I've been waiting for the call. But she finally called today and said, okay, now I know what I need, and I'd like you to come in twice a week so that I can go and get out.
Yep.
And I just said, I am so proud of you because it took you a while to figure it out, but you knew we were here when you needed us.
Aww.
And you didn't wait too super long before you wanted to pull your hair out. So
it's crazy to me, the number of situations that we go into where somebody has been that 24/7 caregiver for 10 years, never left the house.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? That might be an extreme. Maybe they've gone to the grocery store, but nothing really beyond that. And how people are able to cope with that and up every hour to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, if I get woken up twice in the night, I am ruined for the next day. So it's just, people are amazingly strong.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to recap these 6 different things. Number 1, you will have to make hard choices.
Number 2, being a caregiver to an elderly parent is nothing like having another child.
Number 3, caregiving can be embarrassing and uncomfortable.
Can you imagine us? Number 4, your relationships will be strained.
Oh, yes.
Again, can you imagine us?
My relationships with my daughters will be strained if they're trying to take care of me.
Thank God for Sammy. Sammy is going to take care of all of us.
Yes. Yes.
5, a doctor's job is to worry about prolonging life, not the quality of life.
Yep. And you will need a break.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at the end of each day, you need to ask yourself, have I done all I could today, given the time, talent, and resources that I have? If you can answer yes, you've done enough. The question isn't, did I do a perfect job or was I the best at what I did? Just, did I do the best I could in the reality of the world in which I live?
That just nails it.
That nails it. That's a very good find, because that's don't put so much pressure on yourself to try to achieve something that is not attainable.
Do not take on anything that you can't control.
Yeah. Oh, my mom told me that a long time ago. It was about my brother. He's kind of a pain in the butt at times. She said, honey, don't drive yourself crazy trying to change him. It's not affecting him at all.
Yeah, you're just in a tizzle and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he could care less.
Oh.
But don't strive for perfection, because you're not going to get that. But if you just say, did I do the best I could with what I had?
Yeah, prayer is very, very helpful. And that's one thing that I work on personally, is just let go and let God.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. And be kind, like Grandma Jean said.
And be kind.
Yes. She also submitted for us our I guess it would be a grandpa saying, because this was from Grandpa Craig.
Oh.
So here we go. Paying for your raisin. Craig was the real thing, a real cowboy and a dear friend of our family. He used to tell his grown children, oh, you're just paying for your raisin, when they would complain about their own kids' escapades. The shoe is now on the other foot, so to speak. This bit of wisdom was also freely shared with friends whose kids, shall we say, were running amok and obviously in need of counsel. Oh. Cowboy logic. Good stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
so
I love
good.
it too. Craig was a good man.
Thank you, Grandma Jean.
Yes, thank you so much, Grandma Jean. So if you listeners out there, if you have a grandma saying, a grandpa saying, a bit of wisdom you would like to share with us, please submit those to the caregivingpodcast@gmail.com, as well as sending us your verses and any uplifting stories you would like us to share. And then make sure that you go and subscribe. You can do that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Leave us a review, share us with your friends, go onto our Paga Care and Share Facebook group and get in the discussion.
Yep. We want you to be there. We're here. Let's all work this out with each other.
Something like that.
You bet.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good day.